Hello, my brothers and sisters, and welcome to another episode of Reverend Hagen's horrific cinematic dissection. As always, I'm your host, Reverend Hagen, and as always, I'd like to welcome our listeners at SCRMradio.com. That's SCRMradio.com for all your horror and paranormal needs. Now, tonight we're going to be reviewing, 2015's, good Lord, Sinister 2, written by Scott Dickerson and C. Robert Cargill, just like the original Sinister, which we reviewed last week. But this one is directed by Sarian Foy, and starring James Ranson as Deputy So-and-so again, from the original Sinister, as well as Mr. Wright, Shanyan Sosman from A Knight's Tale and The Order, which she did both with Heath Ledger. She was really good in both, I thought. Then she dropped off the map, and now she's back again, which is very exciting. And here we go. Robert Daniel Sloan and D'Artagnan Sloan. Both Sloans are part of the triplets. And there's also an Anastasia Sloan that's an up-and-coming actress, too. It's really wild. These two young actors are brothers, and they play brothers in Sinister 2. Now, Sinister 2 is a little different than the original. We're still dealing with the same bad guy. And if you haven't seen Sinister, I'm not even going to tell you his name. I won't do it. But Deputy So-and-so is carrying on the good fight to try to get this demon that he encountered in the first movie. All right. This one takes place on a farm that had a church on it that worshipped this demon. And on this farm, there was a mother and two sons that are escaping an abusive father and husband. They sweet kids, but just like in the first one, they stumble across, the kids do in this case, this projector and these films of these horrific murders. I know it doesn't sound like a pleasant film to watch. If the characters weren't so good, I don't know if it would be, but the characters are really good in this. The actors are fantastic, and they pull it off. And if you like scary movies, I think you're going to dig it. There's a really nice plot twist at the end of this one. I really liked the character of Deputy So-and-so, but I can't stress enough how different this movie is from the original. The original had a real eerie feel to it from the beginning. This sequel, my only caveat to the sequel, is that it doesn't have that. It's kind of borrowing on the mood of the previous movie, which isn't wonderful. It's still scary. It's still got great performances. It's still a pretty decent movie, but I have to say it's not as good as the original. So, I don't usually do this, but I'm going to have to give one decomposing, dissected thumb up and one decomposing, desiccated thumb down. Kind of torn on this one. I really enjoyed it. But if you're looking for a true Sinister 2, if you're looking for that same, good Lord, and the photography in the initial Sinister, you're not going to find it in this one. But you're going to find a lot of creepy and frankly very disturbing things for this particular horror movie. Well, my brothers and sisters, that's it for this episode of Reverend Hagen's Horrific Cinematic Dissection. As always, I'm your host, Reverend Hagen. And again, I'd like to thank our listeners at SCRMradio.com. That's SCRMradio.com for tuning in. And as always, I keep those heads up, my brothers and sisters, and I truly hope you have a terrifyingly terrific day. 6 feet, 6 feet.